What is good, everybody? This is your guy Manny, and this is the Talking Sports with Manny YouTube channel. And you're listening to the Backrow Commander Show. So, got a great episode for you guys lined up today. We're going to talk Terry McLaurin. Why is it that we continue to make the same mistakes? My stream keeps going in and out, in and out. So, you guys, please bear with me. But I have so much to say in such little time. Well, let's start with Terry McLaurin first. Is Terry McLaurin an elite wide receiver? That's number one. Number two, what kind of contract does Terry McLaurin deserve? Let's start with the first part of the question. Absolutely. Terry can definitely be elite. This is why I say what I say. When you look at Terry's numbers from year 1 to year 2 to year 3, you will see a regression from year 2 to year 3. But that does not mean that that's Terry's fault. We know that Terry has played with all kinds of quarterbacks. Here, let's see what he can do moving forward. Then he regressed in terms of touchdowns, right? But he also progressed in terms of receptions from year 1 to year 2. Also, he improved in yards. But in year 3, it was subpar because he regressed in receptions, he regressed in yards, and then he went up in touchdowns by 1 from 4 to 5. Now, you ask yourself, who is Terry playing against? He's playing against some of the best corners and everything. But my question to you guys is, if Terry McLaurin did not play, or if there was not a 17-game season, I think he only played 16 games, but if there was not a 17-game season, I don't think that Terry gets to 1,000 yards. Go look at the numbers. There was a time that it was looking like he was going to be stuck around 800 to 900 yards and not get that 1,000-yard season. But then because of the extra game, he was able to get that 1,000-yard season. And it's good. It's good for him. It's good for us because we have not seen a receiver. We will try to make this thing work. But as we continue with Terry, you're seeing wide receivers get paid outrageous numbers, from Devontae Adams to Tyreek Hill. You can't put Terry McLaurin on the level of Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams. Number one, those guys had Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. Okay, but what does Terry look like with a quarterback like Rodgers and Brady and some of these elite numbers? This season, he has Carson. So you want to be the best receiver out there, or the best receiver in the league, or in your conference, or whatever. But at the same time, Terry's a team guy. So he's never been driven by numbers. He does whatever it takes to succeed. His numbers don't really show the impact that he has for this team. Now let me get to his contract. How much does he deserve? Before this offseason, I would have said about 20, 18 to 20, right? But with the way that Christian Kirk's bank account is set up, the way that then Terry. So you got to pay DK, got to pay AJ Brown. Maybe Terry's agent is waiting to see what DK and AJ Brown receive. If you're going off of overall numbers, DK Metcalf and AJ Brown has produced better numbers. If you're going off of just numbers alone, I'm going to pull those stats up and I'm going to share it with everybody. But like I said, Terry is definitely a very good talent, even elite, if you want to say. But until he gets consistent play out of the quarterback position, the sky's the limit for him. You see a guy like Tannehill, he's decent, but he makes A.J. Brown look amazing. What would A.J. Brown look like with a guy like Taylor Heineke, Kyle Allen, Dwayne Haskins, Case Keenum? Should I just keep going? So I put Terry on that same level as DK and A.J. Brown. But if you're going off of production alone, then it becomes kind of shaky. Like, what do you pay a guy like Terry based off of the production that for like what he's done for this team and where he is in the league? What do you pay him? So it's really tough. So Terry's agent is smart. We all as fans just want this deal to be done so fast. But at the same time, Terry's agent is smart and he's watching the market. Now, let's look at DK. Okay. 900 yards year one, 1,300 yards year two, 900 plus yards again in year three. Now, the gigantic number to really look at is touchdowns. You look at, where's touchdowns? So you look at year one, 7 touchdowns. Year two, 10 touchdowns. Year three, with a hurt Russell Wilson, 12 touchdowns. Then you ask yourself this. Elite wide receivers do one of three things, or sometimes multiple. 100 reception season. That's number one. Number two, a 1,300 to 1,400 yard season. That puts you in a whole stratosphere of elite, right? And then last but not least, a double-digit touchdown season. Now, we see that DK Metcalf has done 2 out of the 3. He's never going to be a high reception guy just because he's like a deep threat. So even if he's targeted, we know his hands is bad, but he's a big play guy. So in his second year, 83 receptions, 1,300 yards, and 10 touchdowns. That's 2 out of the 3 category for what you would call elite, right? What's good, Hawk? Appreciate you hopping on the stream, man. I hope everything is well with you. So you look at DK Metcalf, if we're going off of the criteria of 100 reception season, 1,300 to 1,400 yards receiving, double-digit touchdowns, DK Metcalf has 2 of the 3. DK Metcalf is going to get paid. Hawk says Scary Terry is going to get paid. Absolutely, but we have to determine what this pay is going to look like. And in a way, if Terry is smart, wait to see what DK Metcalf gets paid. Wait to see what A.J. Brown gets paid. That might determine what Terry gets paid. I'm pretty sure both sides are working. In a way, it could be smart to get the deal done first. Because if you look at the numbers, DK has outproduced Terry. I'm sorry. I mean, the truth is the truth. The facts is there. Men, women lie, but numbers never lie. Let's look at A.J. Brown. And mind you, last year, A.J. Brown got hurt, right? I'm going somewhere with this. A.J. Brown, year one, had 52 receptions, 70 receptions, 63 receptions. Terry's more of a receiving. He gets more targets. He gets more catches. Terry's sure-handed. But the way that these guys are used is slightly different. Year one, A.J. Brown played 16 games, right? Got to 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. So he doesn't have the criteria. It's a big number. Terry's career high in touchdowns in any season, any time, is 7 touchdowns, which was year one. So obviously A.J. Brown has outproduced. He was hurt. He played 13 games and had almost 900 yards. Okay. He also had 5 touchdowns. But if you do the numbers and project that over 16 to 17 games, obviously he'll be in that same range of 1,000 yards, maybe 8 touchdowns. So he's pretty consistent. So you can look at A.J. Brown as a guy who gets 60 to 70 receptions, 1,000 yards, 8 to 12 touchdowns. That's A.J. Brown. And in a nutshell, you can kind of say that he's outproduced Terry or been on the same level. Terry, and I'm only giving you guys just a few guys that I'm comparing with, because there's so many guys that came out of that draft class. Okay. Hawk says, and Cole World and these linebackers better put up or shut up. Yeah, we're definitely going to get into the Cole Beasley segment of this podcast shortly. Says, by the way, Jabril Peppers to the Pats, they are overloaded with safeties, in my opinion. I agree. Jabril Peppers to the Patriots, that's a pretty good sneaky, really, really good signings. You can see the Patriots playing a lot of different things. To Terry, let's get back to Terry. So when you look at Terry, he's been solid. He's had anywhere between 58 receptions to 87 receptions. So Terry is more of a catcher of the ball. Pause. But at the same time, he has 16 touchdowns compared to A.J. Brown's 24. So at the end of the day, like I said, DK Metcalf and A.J. Brown has outproduced Terry. But that does not mean that Terry is not capable. That doesn't mean that Terry's not elite. Terry's one of the best wide receivers skill set in the league. But based off of the quarterback situation, you might never get these elite type of numbers. Now, I would say that to me, I think that Carson Wentz is better or on the same level as a guy like Ryan Tannehill. This is going to be the season that we see who Carson Wentz is. This could be his very last chance to be in the league. And Carson Wentz has never had a number one wide receiver. You can say Alshon Jeffries. Who is Alshon Jeffries? With all due respect, Alshon Jeffries was a good receiver, not a great receiver. Terry has a chance to be a great receiver. When you look at what Terry, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf have all done in the first 3 years of their careers, you can see that elite level upside. What happens when A.J. Brown gets a real quarterback? What if A.J. Brown played with Aaron Rodgers this season? So those are some of the things that you want to look. If you want Terry McLaurin to have success, you have to surround him with talent all around. You need a wide receiver too. 1A. Antonio Gibson is good. He's a good running back, but to me, Antonio Gibson is not a 1A type of back. He's a wide receiver that's learning how to play that running back position, and he continues to not, it's just something about Antonio Gibson that I don't quite like or even understand. He's a very, 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 very good running back, but you definitely need somebody better. Pro Tech in the building, man. What's good, brother? What's good, brother? Appreciate you hopping on the stream. You need somebody better than Antonio Gibson. With the kind of defense that Ron Rivera has, right? This is not the time to play around and continue to add to the defense when the offense is putting up less than 20 points. Like, the franchise is so mediocre and so trash that they're fine with finding these bargain players. Thank God that Logan Thomas worked. Thank God that J.D. McKissick worked. But what if they didn't work? What are we really working with? We have to remember the year when Terry McLaurin came into the league, he was not supposed to be Terry McLaurin. Matter of fact, they drafted Terry McLaurin because he was a great special teams player. Really, Dwayne Haskins came into the organization as the guy who was able to get us Terry. He put in a call. He said, hey, he vouched for him. I don't know how much pull Dwayne Haskins has, but at the same time, he helped bring Terry to DC to be a special teams player. Mind you, we had Josh Doctson and the mighty Paul Richardson. Speaking of Paul, this year. And if that's not Carson Wentz, then hey, I don't know what else to say. Carson Wentz has a chance to revive his career. He's going to be playing with Terry. Where you help Terry is at pick 11. If you don't trade back, if Kyle Hamilton is not there or Sauce Gardner is not there, those are the two. It's a no-brainer. You got to grab one of those two guys if they're available. But if they're not available and you want to grab, if you get an Olave, then you have two Terrys on the field at the same time. That's who Olave is. He's another Terry McLaurin, a guy who can run some crispy routes, get open, has great hands. To produce a great first game. People said, "Oh my gosh, this guy has blazing speed. Oh, this guy is more than just a special teams guy." Ladarius, man, what's good, man? Welcome to the stream. So you got to get Terry some help. If you don't like Olave and if you don't like Garrett Wilson, guess what? You can go Treylon Brooks. Treylon Brooks is being compared to a guy like Deebo Samuel. He's a physical specimen. He's a big guy. He's a big guy, but his skill set is so unique. Put the ball in his hands and the guy can go 90 yards. They say, oh, he had a bad combine, or oh, he had a bad pro day. He was benching. He looked weak. He did this. He did that. You have to look at the game speed, okay? I'm more interested in the guy's game speed than the guy's 40 speed. Garrett Wilson, Treylon Brooks, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson in no particular order. You get any one of those guys at 11 or in the first round, period, I'm okay with it. Guys that I like in the second round, I like guys like Christian Watson. I've done all I can for DC. It's time for me to move on. If Terry leaves, then what? Hawk brings up an excellent point. He says, we have Deebo already in Curtis Samuel. I hope he's rehabbing and training like Dayami. Look, I haven't seen what Dayami is doing. And honestly, I don't want to see any training videos. I don't want to see guys practicing and putting stuff up on Instagram. Because the last time I seen that, it was Terrell Pryor. The last time I seen that, it was my guy, Darius Geis. Last time I seen that, it was Dwayne Haskins. Not that training isn't good. Train. Do what you got to do. I just want to see production on the field. That's just how I feel about the situation. Now, you say Washington already has Curtis Samuel and Deebo. I will politely disagree with you. For one, Curtis Samuel, you can say that he's not injury prone. He just got injured, this past season? He was fairly healthy all his career, right? But when you look at the skill set, Curtis Samuel is smaller than Deebo. Deebo's running through people. There's a reason why his name is Deebo. So please, do not put Deebo and Curtis in the same category. And also, when I'm talking wide receivers for the Washington Commanders, I never include Curtis Samuel. You know why? I don't know who he is. I've never seen him. I've never seen him on the field. I don't know what position he plays. Like, what does he play? What does he do well? We hear about great stories of what Curtis Samuel has done in Carolina. He did all those things after Ron Rivera and Scott Turner were gone. So it's still a mystery. It's still a mystery. Number one, can he stay healthy? Number two, can Ron Rivera and Scott Turner use him correctly? You can find out all the answers to these questions on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. I don't know. So look, all off season, you can go back, check the tape. I have not included Curtis Samuel in anything. I don't know who he is right now. He has to show me. Not just in the preseason, in the actual games. I saw a picture. Somebody posted it, said, oh, it's Curtis Samuel wearing cleats. I said, oh, okay. I'm happy he has cleats. What does that mean to me? Is he going to play in the field? Is he actually going to go through like the off-season drills and pro day? I mean, not pro days, but it escapes my mind. But all these off-season workouts, OTAs, yeah, and all these different things. Is he even going to do that? Because he didn't do that last year. He didn't do anything until a game he got in, he got out, then he was gone. He came back in, got a first down, then he was done. Like he had 3 plays all season. Curtis Samuel is as disappointing as Antonio Gandy-Golden. Their first years in the league, you can go look at the numbers side by side. It's nearly identical. Nearly identical. So I'm not counting on Curtis Samuel because if Terry walks and you're telling me that Curtis Samuel is supposed to be this and that, I won't believe it. And I'm hoping that Curtis Samuel is healthy. I'm hoping that Curtis Samuel is able to connect with a guy like Carson Wentz and have a great season. That'll be great, but I'm not holding my breath. I have been optimistic. I've been one of the most cheerful fans, staying positive. This year, I'm not making projections. I'm not making whatever projections and nothing like that. For me, it's more so my expectations are low, although I feel the team can win 10 games. Obviously, you play to win the game, like Herm Edwards says. But at the same time, it's like with one eye, I'm looking at a winner. Then with the other eye, I'm looking at a loser. That's what we've been. We've been a 500 team. So Curtis Samuel, I don't know. But they definitely need another wide receiver because when you look at Curtis Samuel and Terry, it's not enough. And then who else? Oh, Logan Thomas. Okay, you have Logan Thomas. He's out, right? He's going to come back at some point in the year. You have John Bates. He's more of a blocking tight end, although he opened my eyes. He opened all of our eyes this season. He had a sneaky, really good rookie season. Then you got Simmons Reyes, who is a project, right? So you really don't even know what you have in Simmons Reyes. You definitely need another tight end. They didn't address this in the offseason. It's most likely they addressed this in the draft. This draft is full of tight ends, but you're going to see a lot of tight ends go in the second round. Do they take a tight end in the second round? I don't know. But I want to read you guys something. A guy from the Redskins Hub, what's his name? His name is Anthony John. Great guy, the admin, the creator of Redskins Hub. Y'all go over to Facebook, follow Redskins Hub. Great guys. So he had a few things he wanted to talk about. He says Landon Collins to play free safety instead of box safety. So we all knew that Landon Collins was a box safety. Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio put him in at free safety. He got burnt. He couldn't do a lot of different things. Now, let's get William Jackson III, he says, a guy who is a man corner. And let's let William Jackson III play zone. He says, let's draft Jamin Davis to be a middle linebacker. Then later on you realize he can't play middle linebacker. Oh, he's the outside linebacker. But you drafted an off-ball linebacker in the first round. And I'm not going to lie, I was excited about it. I had Jamin Davis rated high on my board. But I'm glad that I don't run the team. I'm glad that I'm not, part of that war room because I probably would be getting us some bad players. So I can't really fault what the front office is doing there. But you just can't get people and try to force them to be something that they're not. It just never works. Then now this offseason, you're hearing that Cole Holcomb is going to be the middle linebacker. He has a chance to be the middle linebacker. The whole time, DC fans have been crying for a guy like Bobby Wagner and even some of these lower tier guys, and they get nobody. Now you're looking at the draft. You're looking at all the different holes you have. You have safety holes. You have, wide receiver. You need more depth at tackle and guard, and now you need interior defensive tackles. Man, an offseason where you finally get a quarterback. We're going to see if he does anything or not, but then it's like more holes created this year than we had last year. So with that being said, it's like I think Ron Rivera and Co. are probably scared of drafting another linebacker in the first 2 rounds. Nakobe Dean would be perfect. even at 11. But I don't think the team does that again. You don't take 2 off-ball linebackers back to back. So you can eliminate linebackers. But back to what Anthony John was saying. He says, not enough projects? Question mark. He goes, let a foreign basketball player get a foreign basketball player, a guy that has never played football in Simmons Reyes, and bring him in to be tight end. Like I was telling you guys last year, I've been preaching this. Our tight end group last year was so bad. Thank God that we signed Ricky Seals-Jones. You remove Ricky Seals-Jones from that tight end group we had last year, even with a healthy Logan Thomas, that's probably possibly one of the top bottom half tight end group in the entire league. Because outside of Logan Thomas, outside of Ricky Seals-Jones, you didn't have any threat. Like nobody's really afraid of the tight ends that Washington has. But thank God they signed Ricky Seals-Jones. He worked out and he left, and they were not able to replace him. Granted, it was a small guy that you possibly grab like that, and you just continue to move on. But the team could possibly draft a tight end in the second round. They can draft a running back in the second round. I think the team should go offense. You need weapons. So whether you draft a wide receiver and a tight end, a wide receiver and a running back, you guys are probably thinking, oh, we have Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson is great. He does this, he does that. But at the end of the day, Antonio Gibson is still a wide receiver who is learning how to play the running back position. He runs upright, like Anthony John mentioned earlier. He runs upright. He has fumbling issues, But yeah, Anthony John. He just go check him out, man. He's a really, 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 really good guy. Just brought up a lot of great points. He says, let's make Antonio Gibson a running back. Sure, he fumbles. Sure, he runs upright. He has injury issues, but any chance to play him a lot sounds like a great idea. So having Antonio Gibson in there, you need a pure running back. I love Jared Patterson, but you got to improve. Like you see good teams or great teams get better. Why can't a mediocre team like Washington get better? You can't say, oh, we have Curtis Samuel. I'm content. We good. Hey, we are posted up. We taking command. Nah, you need more than that. You know what I'm saying? You look at a team like Miami, continue to load up. They have Tyreek Hill. They add more talent. Even if it's not wide receiver, maybe a running back, maybe another tight end. You see good teams get better. Mediocre teams need to get better too. So draft offense in the first round, draft offense in the second round, and let's see what this team can actually do. Before I wrap this podcast up, it's one more topic. So that way I can talk about it. Let me pull it up. But shout out to Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill. Various amount of things. He's a big running back. He's a fullback. He's a linebacker. You can play some special teams if you need him to. So those are the kind of players that I would want Ron Rivera to target if you're going to talk position flex. Oh man, I think I have to pull up this tweet. Let me stop sharing my screen because this guy made a really, really good point. So I really want to put this out there so we can talk about it. But if you guys are watching the replay, let me know what you guys think Terry McLaurin deserves in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? I never say that, hey, I'm right about anything, but I'm always willing to talk. I'm always willing to dialogue about anything. So yeah, today some news came out that Washington is going to continue to Daniel Snyder is not part of the day-to-day. He's just part of, That's that. But man, I gotta find this tweet because I know it was good. Okay. As if you guys don't know Adam Aniba, go and check out his stuff. Adam Aniba is really, really good. He writes these great articles. You can find him at the Burgundy and goldreport.com. So he's citing this guy. He's saying Isaiah Likely, which I like. I like Isaiah Likely. I think he's a top 5 tight end in this draft. This draft has plenty tight ends. And I think that a tight end that is drafted in the 5th or 6th round might even end up being something. Now, it's going to take some time. Like with tight ends, it takes time. Now, my guy, Al Bundy Jr., he says, how many tight ends do we have on the roster? And do you go tight end after, or do you go after one in the draft? So I was talking, like I said earlier, Logan Thomas is hurt for a while. John Bates is solid, but more of a blocker. Reyes is a project. But either way, you still need a tight end, and we failed to do it in free agency. It's not over. Free agency is not over because people do get cut. So you can possibly pick up somebody later. But maybe you grab one. You grab a tight end in the draft. But me personally, I'm not suggesting you do it in round 2. But if you see a tight end that you think can be a superstar in this league, you do what you got to do. Al Bundy says, that's right. I was thinking, says maybe late in the draft, but definitely not the first 2 days. Nah, you can't do that. Says be interesting to see Bates' progression in Reyes for that. Yeah, I want to see those guys do well. I want to see Reyes do well. I want to see Bates. But hopefully those guys emerge. You have guys like De'Ami Brown. He needs to emerge. Curtis Samuel. He needs to show that he can be healthy. Logan Thomas. He needs to bounce back. Antonio Gibson. You need to show that you're not going to fumble every single time you touch the ball. Eddie McKissick. How much can you give us coming off? Happens, but definitely a whole bunch of question marks. So let's see how the draft goes. As the draft gets closer, I'll be giving you guys more and more content based off of what I feel the team is going to do, prospects that the team is looking at each different position, and we'll go from there. Once again, this is Manny. This is the Talking Sports with Manny YouTube channel. This is the Backrow Commander Show. Please subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Google. I'm everywhere. The Backrow Commander Show. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for all the love and all the support. And I will catch you guys on the next episode. Yo. Peace.